So as the title shows, this video is about why people like Megan Thee Stallion or like Cardi B are like undateable. And this is not to attack them. Hopefully they could see this video and watch it through, and hopefully other women could see this video and watch it through. This is not an attack. This is like a attention grabber, but I'm just going to be honest about it. And if you just be strong, watch it, listen to what I say instead of judging the messenger. Maybe you may learn something about it and have like successful relationships and move a little different. And by the end of the video or even at the end, like, comment if you agree, or if you don't, subscribe to the channel. That helps a lot, and turn on your notification bell for more videos. um, I would like for like men and women to do that, to support the channel and keep me going on these conversations. But yeah, like the video says, like, why is Megan Thee Stallion undateable? And I'm going to talk about Clay on this too, Clay Thompson on this too. I'm going to try to go as much into detail and explain it as much as I can. Um, let's start with Clay Thompson, right? Clay Thompson is light skinned. Clay Thompson is a light skinned person, right? And that's not to attack him, but think about this in the bigger picture, right? When black male athletes, especially like NBA players, basketball players, pro athletes, when they get into the league, they're associated with having a white woman. Um, yeah, they're associated with having a white woman. Michael Jordan, for example, Scottie Pippen, for example, um, or like a woman that's like not black, right? So that's that. Now I know you guys are thinking like, what does that have to do with Clay Thompson? So if you grew up, if you grew up in the streets, or even if you didn't grow up in the streets, you know that the light skinned person in every gang or in every group that's like hip hop or rap, or of the culture of hip hop and rap, every street gang, typically the light skinned dude is going to be extra. Like, that person is going to be extra. Internally, he's probably going to feel like he has something to prove because um, typically in the black culture, like, people like bully. It's a history of bully that they did to like light skinned people. Um, yeah, it's just a history of bully why they did to light skinned people. Some may say it's because of like their hatred towards some white people for what happened during slavery. I'm not justifying it or anything, but yeah, it just caused a lot of for whatever the hate may be, it causes a lot of like light skinned dudes to have a overdoing nature. Not overdoing, but they feel like they have a lot more to prove, um, to like be accepted. And this is just theory. This is just what I this is well this is what I believe though. So Clay Thompson is light skinned, right? So um, a lot of light skinned people would, guys specifically, would want to prove like how black they are. So it's a lot of like light skinned people that get successful that will want to be around, just to prove something to the culture. The most hood, like black figure lady, to kind of like prove that he's still like down with the culture a little bit. And it's not that people like Clay. This may not be the reason why he did it. This is just my theory of why he chose Meg the Stallion and why it was nothing serious. But yeah, I just feel like he chose to be around her for the image of he's not just getting in the league just to go after like white women or anything like that. And Meg The Stallion being a popular like rapper that's a little gullible to date, was kind of like an easy target. So you got that social media or that media light on them, and it kind of like gave him that validation that um, with this like the most popular rapper and she's black. And it kind of gave him, not that he was looking for like clout, more so he was looking to prove something probably internally, that he still has like love for like black women or something like that. So I know ball players, and I know that um, their they have a specific type, and they don't. Ball players don't go for rich women. Successful men do not go for rich women, and that's something that women don't understand about men. And I say this all the time, but men are not attracted to women the same way women are attracted to men. Like meaning, women typically look at a guy's status and a guy's money. Guys don't care anything about that unless they're like very, very broke when it comes to women. Guys care about, especially when their money is like really, really good and they're really established, they care about how a woman looks. They're going to typically go for that 21-year-old or something like that. That's why you see a lot of celebrities with like big age gap because they have the money to do it, and they're just not attracted to like women their age because of they care about the looks so much. Um, so yeah, with that said, I already had my eyebrows raised because when they first were like dating, because I know it seemed like something fishy about it. And you can't say that it's unfair because every ball player knows that when, or every guy just in general knows that when a guy and a girl is 20 or 19 or 18, um, the girl is going to weigh her options, go to those VIPs when it's a rich guy with a Lamborghini or something, or going to yachts, going these private parties and weigh their options. So when guys get older and more mature and more so in their prime, they take advantage of the options that they have. I know it sounds harsh, but it's a game that both sides play. Women get to play it more early in life, and guys get to play it later on in life. Megan Thee Stallion, just like Cardi B, has lyrics that, you know, talk about being like a savage or out in the streets and stuff like that. And it's not that men have a problem with a girl that's out in the streets. It's just that when you put it on, on a fame level, like when the whole world knows, they don't typically take women like that serious, because it's kind of like when they walk into a building with their business partners or their peers or their associates, they're going to be like looked down on based on the woman that they have. Even if that woman does have a lot of money, men respect men when it comes to women at their date based on their woman's submissiveness, based on their woman like feminine characteristics. Like, does she cook? Um, is she a quiet person? Like men typically like quiet women. Um, does she care about being like the baddest bee? Um, a lot of men typically stay away from women that verbalize that they want to be like the baddest or like the best looking girl. Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B typically say that in their lyrics, and what it does when women do that is it puts a target on their back. You can only be a bad bee for so long. Like I said, man don't care about how much a woman makes, especially a man of Klay Thompson's status, like the his money. Men care about looks. So when you're making a Stallion's age or Cardi B's age, and this is not to down talk women that are their age, it's just that when you put a target on your back, even if you do it at a younger age, like if you, and the more people that hear it, the more time people see it on social media, the more they're going to hold you to that standard. Like, so when you're saying you're a bad B, or when you're saying that you're like the baddest girl, those men are going to hold you to that standard because that's what you promoted about yourself, and that's what got you like fame, or basically that's just been your identity, and you only know how to carry yourself off of thinking you're just like a bad bee. So you're going to go to places and subconsciously be a little more like masculine than you think when you're a woman. And I'm not judging women that want to be masculine, but just guys, especially guys with their money right, they're going to pay attention to these things. They're going to keep you around for whatever reason, but they're not going to like put a ring on you, or make you like anything more than like another girl, because you're not displaying like feminine characteristics that they like. And sometimes women don't want to have like the conversation or listen to guys that explain that, so they go their life not understanding men, and then choosing like high value men like Klay Thompson, and expecting like a certain kind of like loyalty that those guys are not willing to provide. Yeah, so Megan Thee Stallion, weigh their options with Klay Thompson. Like Klay Thompson is a high value man, and Megan Thee Stallion went for the high value man that's making that much money. Like meaning, for her to date, I would imagine for her to date somebody that she makes more than, which is a huge majority of the world, she will be looking at that as a downgrade. And when you look at something as a downgrade, you typically like disrespect something. So typically women that make a lot of money, they want guys that make what they make or more, and they still want to be like provided for a little bit. But um, just like those women weighed those options and overlooked those guys, those same guys are going to weigh their options and overlook that girl no matter how much money she makes, because they have millions of girls in their inbox. So they're going to eventually always go for the new hot thing, because they can. And that's the thing that Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B have to realize and be accountable for. Like, you chose a man that was basically you at age 18 or age 21, and there's things that come with it, like, and a lot of women that are not even rich, um, they gotta understand, like, when you have all these like standards for a guy, like a certain height, like Klay Thompson's 6'7", a certain salary, um, over 300,000. A lot of women say Klay Thompson makes like 70 a year or something like that. Um, yeah, certain credit score. Guys that fit that criteria are very, very down. So those guys are like those 1%. So because of those guys are 1%, they have a lot of women that are coming after them. And because they have the money, they don't care about the woman's money. So they could just easily provide for those women. And it's just easier for them to go get at a waitress or a server or a hostess, for a lot less drama, a lot less media attention, and it just brings them more peace, than being around someone that they have to constantly hear on the radio saying that she's a savage, and having to explain that, in their little circle or their associates meeting. This is not to down talk Megan Thee Stallion. This is hopefully to provide an understanding. I'm trying to explain it as best as I can without being offensive. Sometimes you gotta hear like the tough love. Like, you gotta feel like you're being attacked to hear the message. Like I'm not saying this to attack her. I would love to have a conversation with Meg Thee Stallion or Cardi B, and I'll just tell them to date poor. I talk about this in one of my videos. Just date. If you making that much as a woman, if you want a successful relationship, if you're Megan Thee Stallion or even like a Cardi B, you gotta date more poor. Like, you gotta date men that doesn't make as much as you. You got to be willing to change ways that you have. If it's nothing wrong with how you are, but if you're constantly, talking about especially on the radio, like how you're not like a cooker or a cleaner, those are things that men with status are going to want. Men in general are going to want, but especially men with status. And if you have a reputation of saying that they're not going to take you serious, they're going to keep you around for convenience sometimes, but they're not going to take you serious. Um, Also, just like Cardi B, and um, this is not me saying that Klay Thompson and like a Stephen Diggs is wrong for what they did. They're absolutely wrong, but um, I'm explaining why they did what they did, but I'm not saying that they're correct, they're right for doing it. But I'm just saying it just so maybe women could make an adjustment or change in their life, more specifically like Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and their fans, because a lot of their female fans don't understand this because they never wanted to have a conversation with a man or wanted to fully watch a video like this to understand. So I'm not taking up for Klay Thompson or Stephen Diggs, but I'm just saying like ways women could change to have more successful relationships. Um, when you're like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, and you constantly put man's business on the internet, whether it's a breakup that happens or whatnot, these men are watching that, and these men like peace and privacy. That's one of the biggest things that men really really like. And when you have a reputation of doing, putting their business out there, even when stuff don't work out, it's going to make it that much harder for you to get in a new situation, because men are keeping track of that. They know that if something goes wrong, you're going to put their business on the internet, whether they were right or wrong, whether you was right or wrong. And a lot of men just really don't like that, and then they can't take you, they don't take you serious if you display things like that. So my message to Meg Thee Stallion: stop putting that business on the internet. Even if he did say he wanted to be in a poly relationship, you could have just said, like a more feminine thing to do. I'm not judging you if you don't want to be feminine, if you want to be masculine, but if you want a successful relationship for your next thing, especially with the guy of a status that you typically go for, you could have just made a public statement, we're no longer together, and you could have just left it at that. But you saying like this guy wanted, you basically um, are attacking him. And I'm not saying that he's correct for what he did to you, but the next man that's watching that, it could be a good guy. He's going to use that against you, and then you're just gonna keep going through that same circle. Same with Cardi B. You guys keep saying that you want to be like all these women that say that they want to be like the baddest woman. You guys don't know that you're even competing with other men, even when it comes to man. Like a lot of men, when they hit so many like bad women, like meaning so many like good looking women that were in their prime, they typically go for men after that, man. They typically, I have a lot of, I talk to a lot of people, man. Me personally, I don't roll that way, but it's a lot of celebrities that I know of that did things with like trans women or even like LGBTQ men because they had so many like bad bees, and it's kind of like what could you do next from here because you had so many. So a lot of you women think being a bad bee put you at the top tier of getting like a really good like status guy, but it's kind of like hurting you. Yeah, so man, just to cut this video short, hopefully I wasn't like off track, but yeah, you got a message to Meg the Stallion, Megan the Stallion, Cardi B. Just understand that humble yourself. Same with Clay Thompson and Stephen Diggs. Honey, humble yourself too, because if any of you guys, like if the girls lost their looks or the man lost their money, um, you're back at ground zero. You're back at level one, and you know you're going to feel crazy because you're going to be a ground one. So just humble yourself, specifically to Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. Change your standards. Learn how to appreciate like just like a regular guy, because that regular guy is going to respect you a lot more than a ball player. Um, be a little more submissive if the relationship is what you want. A lot of men with some integrity or some status, they're going to want a submissive woman. Stop putting your personal life. You might have to retire from rapping because rapping require. This is why I don't rap no more. It requires you to put your personal life on on tracks. And if you're a woman, a lot of guys are not going to like that. So you might have to retire and turn into you. If you want to be a wife, you have to be a wife before you get in a marriage. You gotta, a man has to see you prepared before you get in a relationship with him. Let me say that again. You have to display being a wife before you are actually a wife. That's how a man is going to really put a ring on you. You got to be submissive. You got to have changed already for the man that you want before you're with him. You gotta and men are good. Men, no smart or successful man that's in position is going to be stupid. They going to know, especially like when you got some fame to your name. They going to look at your track history. They're going to look at things that you changed. They're going to look at the change in your music. They're going to look at the less albums that you produce. Rihanna's a good example of somebody that literally changed her life for the marriage that she wanted to be in or relationship that she wanted to be in. You see less music of her coming out. I don't think she made music in like years, but that's how dedicated she was to that relationship with ASAP Rocky. And I typically don't see Rihanna like, I get that stuff happened with her and Chris Brown, but I typically don't see her down in her past men that she dated on social media or on the media in general. And that's why she's like one of the ones that have a successful relationship with ASAP Rocky. Beyonce is another example. Of course, they did that album Lemonade when Jay-Z cheated, or if he really did cheat, that might have been a business move. But you don't see Beyonce down talking Jay-Z, even though it's a 12-year age difference. You don't see her saying that, oh, I feel like he took advantage of me or anything like that. A lot of women will say that, but that's why like Beyonce is in a position that she is, a successful marriage, because she didn't overreact to like some cheating that went on. She decided to be submissive. She uplifts her man. Yeah, maybe you guys should just like have that conversation with like a Rihanna or a Beyonce and just see what it takes to be in that position that you guys are in, and the sacrifices that it take, and just see how you can get in that successful relationship if you do want to be with a guy with a high status. Jay-Z is of a high status, even ASAP Rocky is of a high status. They both got a lot of money, especially Jay-Z, and Beyonce pulled it off. But yeah, man, you can't have that bad beat title and guys not hold you to that standard. So be okay with regular. I do a video where I talk about people don't value regular anymore. Um, yeah, people just don't value regular anymore, and it's crazy because, um, yeah, man, like regular used to be a gold standard. Like now people want to look like the filter, or they want people that look like the filters that they see on Instagram. They don't they don't respect people with regular cars because they want like the most foreign expensive car, because regular has turned, or even when women don't wear makeup, like a lot of guys don't value regular women because, and women don't value regular guys that make regular money because somehow social media has messed up the minds of people, um, making it making people think that regular is a downgrade or just something like bad, and people forgetting that anything above, a lot of times things above regular is just fictional and is just filtered, and people hold filter standard on regular people. So just be okay with being regular, and valuing somebody that's regular. You don't have to have the person with so much money or so much status, the ball player, unless that ball player is regular. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I hope nobody takes offense to this. This video is getting a little long, so I think I'm gonna cut it here, and peace out.